Welcome, everybody. I'm glad you guys are in here. I am not trying to be cool with the Gucci glasses. I am dealing with an eye infection. I found out that I was allergic to something, and I've got a crazy eye going on, so I'm covering it up. Good morning, good morning, good morning. So, if you guys got into that Google Play, it's time to go watch it. I'm just going to quickly see whether or not how much I'm up on that bad boy. So, to be honest with you, I actually expected to be up more than this right now. So it's right around $3.08. That's a 45, well, it's a 79% gain altogether from yesterday and today. I'm looking for those to be around $4. So we'll go into that chart in a minute. I'm going to let them cook for a little bit because I just want more. I'd rather give up a little bit than to not get a minimum of $100% win on that. Looks like they're climbing 92% at the moment. There we go. Now I'm at it's $1,000 gain. I want more for some reason. Okay. I have on the live with me today Mr. One and Only Spy Lord. Let's bring him into the show. Welcome, Michael. Appreciate you being here this morning.
I'm glad to be here, brother. Glad to be here.
Yeah, man, let's make some money here. Good morning, Charles.
Yeah.
Food and Travel. Vader, good morning. It's a sunny, approaching 70 in Dixon City, Pennsylvania. That's not bad for Pennsylvania. It's a beautiful fall day here in Europe. Volume going in and out. You know, this is going to be an experiment. We're going to do our best. And, maybe Spy Lord will have to carry this if my video is not too good. Echo coming from Spy Lord. All right, let me attempt a couple things with that, guys. I'm going to put my earphones in.
I can.
Couple other small things I'm going to do, and we're going to try to get rolling here.
There you go, Josh.
Does that sound okay to you guys that way?
I can hear you.
Yep, I can hear you too. Okay. Volume is fine for me. Echo is from Spylord. Go ahead and talk, Spylord. Let's see if you got any more echo. Good morning, Jeffrey. Good morning, Anu,
How about
Lani.
let me mute myself?
Nope, echo. Adam
I
Porter
can mute
says the
my.
echo is gone, so I think you're okay. Let's keep you on.
Okay.
Okay, guys.
Okay.
Let me. I'm just going to take a little time. Let's go look into the charts. We'll come back and talk in a little bit. But I wanted to show you guys the monthly chart on the SPY. And, I talked about this in one of my recent videos that these massive wicks here were, giving us the perspective that buyers really have been pushing this up, right? And this is just one more candle here. We're getting ready to end the month of October, and it's just one more monthly candle that we've got here in a row. And so I just wanted to put that in perspective. Anybody who sits there and says, is it time to buy SQQQ right now? We haven't had even one red candle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is the 6th month straight of green candles. And so, you never want to try to get ahead of Wall Street. We're not smart enough to figure out what Wall Street's going to do next. If you're a charter, if you want to become a master of charts, the concept is to follow the charts. We're not, this isn't witchcraft. We're not throwing, the bones in the pot and trying to read what they're saying. We are simply looking at these visual illustrations to get a very clear understanding of what we should be doing. And the goal is to honor the trend. So this morning we're looking at the trend. The trend is clearly up on the SPY. Let's take a quick peek. Good morning, Vincent, Samantha, Maria, Jubirthe, Akkad, Arman, Hatan. Good morning. Narisa, good morning. Dinola, good morning. Pablo, good morning. All right. Let's jump in, and we're going to do a quick tutorial of what our game plan is with the SPY in general when we go to trade it on our VIP live trade sessions. It's very simple. It's simple, and anyone can learn it, but it does take a little bit of understanding, explanation, and practice. Overall, if we continue to trend down, my target is right down here at 578.50 to 577. This is where we've got an order block. Okay, give me a minute. I'm going to clean some things up here. I've got a little laptop screen, so I don't have my. I got to move around windows when I want to make little changes. Give me a minute. Okay, so that way we've got nothing visually. So this morning, we're already into the market. We've got 5 minutes going here. We got 236. All right, so we're in our second candle. All right, so here's how we're going to draw our structure. And we're going to go by our initial trade plan starts with going by 3 structures that we look at to get a sense of the trend. And then we marry that with some concepts around understanding candles. So I'm going to draw those out. I use the parallel channel tool. On pre-market, I'm drawing as close as I can visually to the top candle that's closed, the high, and then the lowest candle that's closed for the low. Okay, and so just so you guys know right off the bat, we are currently right beneath pre-market. So that's a bearish signal. This candle hasn't closed yet, but if it did close beneath pre-market, then we will have already gotten our first confirmation to go into puts. Before we do, now this is the first structure. I'm going to give you guys the second structure and then the third structure. But let's just take a quick pause. We always want to do a quick review of the short-term trend. We do that by going to the MACD. So I'm going to go to the MACD on the 1 hour time frame. Okay. Now I got to every once in a while go back. Hey, Spylord, if I guess you can't see the comments. Grow Gas, Mr. Clutch, good morning. Helen Shawangza, I was watching the wrong day's video. I'm glad you're here. Daryl Ludi, good morning. Kobe, good morning. Good morning, Joseph. All right, just wanted to check in. Now, I've got the 1 hour chart up. Okay, now I'm going to quickly go over, pull up the MACD. Give me a minute. Okay, 1 hour. So here's what we're looking at, guys. We're okay to enter puts as long as the MACD is pointing down on the 1 hour time frame. You do not want to get into calls if the 1 hour MACD is pointing down. And you don't want to get into puts if the 1 hour MACD is pointing up. So at the moment, we would be safe to enter puts from the perspective of the 1 hour trend as we're trying to scalp. So let's go back to the 5-minute chart. Okay. So first structure, we're going to call this, I'll even take some time to put in the number 1 today. First structure is going to be pre-market. Today we're trading to make money, but we're also this is a micro class to my scalping. All right, so there's your pre-market structure in pink. Those lines. Now we're going to go do a morning market structure. That's going to be our first 15 minutes, and we're going to use the bodies only. Now we don't have those candles yet. We're only 2 minutes deep, but for the moment, we're going to just set it there and mark up the screen. All right, we're going to call this 2 morning market. All right, and we'll even make that a different color. We'll make this one yellow today. I always change my colors. It's probably not the best pattern, best habit. You guys can do it the way you want to do it. And I'll make this one pink. All right, so our morning market structure is right there. Our pre-market structure here. Now we're going to add our third structure, which is the VWAP. Okay, so we're going to come down here. Volume weighted average price right there. Okay, so now technically we don't have morning market defined, but we do have 2 of our 3 structures are showing that this thing wants to go down, and that's pre-market and VWAP. So I'm going to start looking at puts, even though I'm not going to enter them until we get beneath morning market. But let me go start looking at them right now. Google has just flushed hard.
Yep.
Well, there's my, I intended to keep an eye on that right at open, but doing this live looks like it's costing me about $1,000. That's okay. We can make that back. I make thousands of dollars every day, guys, doing what I'm going to teach you right now. I had the experience yesterday. We're going to let this cook for a few more minutes. Maverick, we'll stay close to it because the market's moving pretty quickly. It looks like we want to
Yeah.
come down and hit that 578. So I'm going to come over here and look at some SPY puts at the moment. Are you now? What Michael's doing is entirely independent to me. Michael, feel free to talk and let people know what you're thinking and what you might grab.
Yeah. I had I had a I had the break of 580.50 was my entry for puts because of yesterday's the structure from yesterday at about let's see here, what time was that? 10:30 all the way through 1 o'clock. We traded in that same range, and 580.50 was my break point. The
Okay.
low, it was kind of the low of that range. Now I'll be eyeballing 578.50, yesterday's low.
Yeah, I could have taken the break of pre-market. To be honest, the break of pre-market and the under VWAP was enough to enter puts. Um,
Yeah, yeah,
I'm going to wait for this candle to close and see if we get a little pull up, and I will look for puts on a retrace back below the close of this candle right here.
yeah,
So that's
yes.
going to be a late entry. Or what's your percentage up right now?
I'm 10% right now. I missed what I wanted, but that was my idea anyways. 580.50. I'm up about 10, 11%, 11 and a half, 13%. I took a 576. There's 15, 16%, 18, 19.
Yeah, it
I've
looks
already
like
set my stop. There went 20% almost.
we're getting a strong candle down.
Yeah.
I do regret not taking it, but I'm also what's even more
But
important,
we're
guys.
also,
It's even more important for you guys to learn how to trade these structures, even
yes.
though because they'll serve you every day. It'll serve you in our trading right now here in a few minutes, and it'll serve us later in the day on reversals. So we're just going to trade the structures here for now.
Yep. And we're also coming down to that bottom trend on that wedge, that rising wedge that we're in. I saw that too. So we could bounce.
All right, we're very close. So one more minute, so
Yeah.
55 seconds before this candle closes, and we'll have our morning market structure. I would say that get your finger on the ready because we can get into something very quickly. So I keep it very simple. As far as trading, scalp trading. If I'm feeling slightly less aggressive, I will change things up a little bit. But largely, I'll either trade today or let's say right now it'd be October 31st would be my option. So it's either today or October 31st. And so if right now I'm
Yeah.
looking at the puts and I'm going to be going with essentially always I enter a put that's right outside the money. So right now that'd be the 579 put that's right outside the money. Now I'm not in those and I'm not entering them. As soon as we get this candle to close, then
Yeah.
we're gonna watch the next couple candles to see what we get. All right. So what we've got right now is we've got this candle crossing back beneath the first candle. Now, if we end up going below, if we close this candle, so I'm gonna be looking here to get in if we close this candle. But I'm going to tell you this is going to be a quick move because I have a strong feeling that even if we went down, we're going to
We're
bounce
going to
here.
bounce.
So,
Yeah. I agree. I think we're going to bounce pretty soon.
so I'd like to get a back test of the outer band of the VWAP before entering, and then I want to see it reject. So that's the game plan. So we're watching. I'll let you guys know when I buy, I promise. Don't jump ahead of me. You're welcome to do what you want to do because we'll all learn. If I make a mistake, we'll all learn. If you make a mistake, you'll learn. All right. So kind of as I suspected, we didn't want to chase it. We're still we're still now trading within morning market structure. Now I'm looking for a rejection off of this green outer VWAP. I'd like to see it touch and then reject back beneath it and go back beneath morning market, and I'll buy. So right now, those puts, they're right around 540. If we had entered them prematurely, we'd be down. Right now, they're $1.12.
Yeah.
And our now we're changing puts because we're rising in price. Now we're looking at the 580 put at $1.45. So right here is where I'm going to kind of pull it up and begin to, enter some details to see if I get a rejection. Okay, so I've got my
I like
my
that,
order.
Josh.
My order is prepared. It's ready here to be initiated if this candle gets rejection. Right now, it hasn't rejected, so it's building.
No.
And just so you guys understand, so we now have our structure. So the three structures, I didn't mark the last one, but I'll take a minute here and do it. The last one is VWAP. That's one of our structures that we're trading. We're doing some education today. We don't want to miss the trade because of education, but the education is the most valuable part. All right, so the third structure is VWAP. We're underneath it. Now we're looking like we could get rejection on that candle. So I'm going back to my trade. We're going to just wait, let it cook. We want to reject. Right now we're not rejecting. If this candle closes, we could be back testing VWAP. If it crosses back above VWAP, then we'll be testing VWAP as well as morning market. We're going to watch. We're watching. We have our structure in place. Now we're watching for rejection. So the option that we're looking at the moment is this 580 expiring 1030, and it's right around $1.28. And there's a minute 26 left on this candle. If this candle
And I'm
closes,
noticing
yeah, go ahead.
previous support that we broke under is now becoming resistance at
And
580.50.
580.50.
Yep.
Yep. He's right. So I tell you, this is an area where I'm very tempted to jump on right now, but I have
Yeah.
to follow my
I'd like to
discipline.
see a rejection. Yeah.
Yeah. If we get halfway through that candle going down, I'm going to hit buy. So you guys will hear me say buy, and the wheels will be spinning. My order will be in. So just right now, those options are at $1.28. We're just waiting because if this next candle goes green, well, the trend is changing, and we have to respect it.
It's changing.
Yeah,
Correct.
this candle, if it closed green, we've got 34 seconds left on it. If it closes green and
Mm-hmm.
there's no rejection wick, then the next candle, we have to watch it. If it closes green, then we have to shift our mind towards calls.
Yep.
You know, and we'll get into some questions. I know this is kind of moving fast, but the main thing is, folks, part of it is learning. Part of it has to be making money. I want to make some money.
Absolutely.
All right, we got 3 seconds left on this candle. 1, it closed. So now we have a pretty strong green candle, and it looks like it's higher. The body is higher than the previous red candle, so it's not quite an engulfing. It's almost an engulfing. Now we're going to back test
Mm-hmm.
VWAP, and this is going to be the same thing. If this candle closes green, well, then we've got a new trend, and we got to look at calls. We'll start looking at them. If it wicks up through VWAP and gets rejected, then I'm going to go into those puts. So we got to watch this candle, and we'll give you some direction here in just a minute. I'm
Is
not.
that the standard VWAP on TradingView, Josh, with the
It
three
is the
bands?
standard. Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, it's the standard VWAP. I don't normally do anything to this. I heard a lot of people say that they have a different VWAP than me. Does yours look different?
Yeah, I'm on. Well, I trade off Weeble. There we go, breaking it.
All right. So
I just have a single line.
so the next process that we have to get before looking at calls is this would have to cross above VWAP. Let me make this brighter. This would have to cross above VWAP, and then we would need a candle to open and close above VWAP. But since we're so close to morning market, we would want to really use our buy signal right here. The reason being is we would have all three confirmations. We'd be above morning market, we'd be above VWAP, and we'd be above pre-market. That would be a really good buy signal for calls. So if we get a candle right here, let me just eliminate the other. Well, give me a minute. So yeah, if we get a candle right where I've drawn my little circle, if we get a candle right there, that would be our call to go into calls. Um, we would be we would not be above pre-market, but we'd be back inside pre-market, and so our target would be the top of pre-market right up there. Let me know in the comments if you guys are understanding what I'm saying. Michael Hines says my chart is doing the opposite of yours. I don't know exactly what that means. Serge says you can add the division bands on Weeble as well.
Okay.
Yes, Jorge
Okay.
said, please hit the like, and I do want you guys to hit the like, not because this is an algorithm thing, but I like to know who's in attendance, how many folks have chimed in today. It matters for me to know how many people are making some money, hopefully. Okay, so let's look at what we've got. We've got a nice little two candle bounce going on here. We're on top of uh, we're on top of VWAP. It's not enough
So,
yet. Go ahead,
Josh, I also
Michael.
noticed that candle on the 1 hour chart. If you look at that rejection candle
Yep.
or that bounce on the 1 hour, coming right off that long trend, that rising wedge of a trend, it looked
Yes.
like it got bought
So
up.
did we bounce there?
We bounced right on my trend line. Yep.
All right. Well, let's do this. Let's get prepared for calls then. We've got a couple things going on here. I'm going to switch over to look at calls.
Yep. I'm in.
All right.
Now I've got some resistance at 581.80, 581.60, 581.80.
All right. I'm going to
That's
let this
that's that,
go ahead.
that's that same range that we spent 4 or 5 hours in yesterday. So it could be rough to break. I'm not sure.
So what was your range? What's that range?
That was 580.50 up to 581.80 in that neighborhood.
Okay.
We spent a lot of time there yesterday.
Well, I have to see this candle close. It's got 42 seconds left on it. Um,
Yep.
I want to see the next candle. If it starts to really take off, I'll jump in, but I'm gonna hold off on
Mm-hmm.
getting in until I get a couple other details here. AZ says the MACD is curling on the 5 minute.
Yep. It's curling up. 15 RSI's rising. MACD's trying. Yeah.
So as I said, okay, so now we got that candle closing. We do have three nice candles going here in a row.
Yeah. I would almost bet we reject here and come back and test VWAP.
Yeah, just so everybody knows, I'm not in, just so you know. Michael's in, which is fine. I'm waiting for
Mm-hmm.
I'm waiting for a candle to open and close right where this candle is. I want to see it close above morning market and not come back into morning market structure. Um, being a bit more conservative like this, you can miss the best entry or miss a slightly better entry, but it's okay. I can live with it.
I've got a quick work call. Josh will be right back.
No problem. You're also seeing a little bit of a slowdown on momentum to the upside. I would look at the MACD. Okay, I don't want to go too far away from what we're trading because we could be very close to taking a position. We got three. It could go there. Jeffrey says, was it Shaq says SPY is going to 585, back to 583.34 today. So you think it's going to 585 and then down to 583. Noted. Deborah Daniels got 15%. Very nice. Eli really dumped. Yep. Google pulled back on me more than, not quite happy about that. We are close to, we're about halfway through this candle. I'm looking at the 582 1030 calls at the moment. But what I want is after we get this candle above morning market, I'd really like to see it back test and bounce off of VWAP before I entered. But if the next candle, if this candle closes small, so small body, I would then take a momentum play if the next candle pushes above the top of this. That means we're just sort of moving higher up. So far, we could have taken one scalp trade, the break of pre-market structure. We could have picked that up for about 20%. It doesn't really fit into what I'm trying to teach. So right now, I'm waiting for this candle to confirm two structures. We're going to confirm above VWAP, and we're going to confirm above morning market if this candle closes green. If it doesn't, we collapse back into this structure. I'm going to be looking for a bounce off of VWAP to go into calls. But if it closes beneath calls, we will switch back to puts. I know this sounds like we're running back and forth, but that's the way it is until the candles tell us what to do. So don't get caught up in one direction only. TSM, I was kind of interested in TSM this morning because you see that it's bounced off of a line that I've been waiting for it to come back and bounce off of. So this is one that I do want to play. We'll keep our eye here. So we have 48 seconds left on this. And if the next candle pushes above the top of this candle, I will go into calls. The whole effing show has pointed out that we're right underneath the 200 EMA, which easily could operate as a resistance. I'll throw that up here real quick. Yeah, we're right underneath the 200 EMA. This could act as resistance right now. All right, so I'm actually going to pull up. I'm going to look at puts real quick, guys. I'm not saying that's the direction this is going, but just be prepared to go either way because this is an interesting spot. This candle technically did confirm something for us. It confirmed two moves, but we got to break above this VWAP. We're in a tight little place at the moment. Don't seem to have a great deal of momentum right now. I think it's just sort of sitting here touching that 200. It's not got the momentum to go down or up. We got a little bit of a doji candle here at the 200. BMTZ, buenos dias to you too, sir. Watching this carefully. I know I used.
Sorry, bro.
Hey, Michael, welcome back. I
Sorry.
use
Sorry.
the paid. No problem. I use the paid TradingView Max service. The baby in the background. All right, here we go. Making a little bit of a move.
Yeah, man.
How are you doing percentage
I
wise?
caught most of that and got kicked.
What'd you get on it?
I think I hit almost 30% on that.
Nice win. Nice win.
Yeah. We're right up against the 200 right now on the 5 minute.
Yeah. Are you
15,
hold?
15 looks nice. I got kicked and re-entered. I got 583 was my next resistance level, Josh.
Yep. 583.40.
Yeah, as long
583.22 is.
as yeah, as long as we stay above 581.80 should be support now to me.
We are using right now. We've got a couple indicators up. We're using VWAP, volume weighted average price, and we're also using the 200-day EMA.
Man, that's almost identical to what I have.
Yeah.
I throw the 9 up also. Use the 9 as like a
No.
trend for.
Sorry. Go ahead.
I'll use the 9 EMA sometimes too as a trend indicator
Absolutely. The nine. So just so you know, the
on the
9
200
EMA
and VWAP.
is very similar to the outer band of the VWAP.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Oh yeah,
We are
here we go.
we are still climbing. All right. We are coming up against. Okay, I jumped in, guys, but we've had a huge jump. It's kind of a late jump, but we're getting a strong momentum move, so I decided to take it. I'm up
Yeah.
on 10 of
I'm
these. I'm up 2%, 4%. That's $60. Now, I'm gonna believe it or not, I'm gonna take that little profit. You're gonna say why? I'm a set up and get prepared. I'm gonna set up and get prepared, guys, just because to me we don't have the. I'm wanting a back test, a better entry. So that's a little spot there. Give me a minute.
yeah. I got kicked again. I took 16% on that one.
So we want is a back
I
test.
never.
You're gonna go puts.
No, no, I just never. It never hurts me to take profits.
Yeah, I know. The issue that I felt taking profits is we had a really nice move here so far, and we
Yeah,
haven't really done any back testing. Um, I'm okay with a little
yeah,
momentum here, but we are getting a nice little push. I mean, it does. We could easily get all the way up to here. This is my target, the morning market, and it's kind of like where it looks like we're pushing to. I'm surprised we're not even back testing the 200 at the moment. I think that would be a minimum back test, which kind of coincides with the outer band of the VWAP. Um,
yeah.
have not sold those yet, guys. I'm just setting it up to sell. Michael's already in and out, I believe.
Yep, yep.
So the play right now is 582 calls, 1030. And so far, our usual trading structure hasn't been, well, we'll have to judge it a little bit later. The first candle that we've got, this is our buy candle right here. That was our buy candle. So I was a little bit slow to get into it because we were up against the 200. I didn't like that. Um, took a little piece of it, uh, and I wouldn't say I'm in the best spot because this could come back and test the 200. We could actually come down, um, but we are. It's holding, so I'm just going to put in a tight stop loss here. And if I get kicked out, I get kicked out. I'll even accept a small loss on this. Yes, I was buying calls, Victor. It's funny, we are slowing down up here, but it's still showing strength. Someone gave me a thumbs down. I don't mind the feedback. I'd love to know what your thought process is. Is
Maybe they hit it accident.
so let me give you so my entry, my average cost is $1.49. Current price is $1.43. I'm $60 down. I was $60 up. I kind of knew to take that 4% just so I could re-enter, but I didn't get it done fast enough. I'm gonna I'm putting in my stop loss right now. I'm gonna put in probably I'll probably put in 130. I'm gonna put in 130 right now. It isn't breaking down. It's not showing any capitulation. We're climbing. We need to get a little push. I would say that if we get up here, that's the next level of rejection. That's the third. That's the second outer band of the VWAP. Tamir is here. So Food and Travel says scalp is better for using a 1 minute time frame. You can do that. It's a little bit harder. It doesn't work with the structure I'm trying to teach. This is I scalp,
No, it's rough.
yeah, I scalp momentum, and I'm trying to give the average trader or the beginner trader some game plan that they can approach the market with each and every day.
Absolutely.
All right, so now I'm
There it
up
went.
again. There we go, up $50. I want to get another candle. All right, up $120. Um, And if you guys followed me, let's say that I did not crush this. Okay, we didn't we didn't get in. I don't know. The timing was okay. This isn't the big move of the day yet. We'll call this the small move. But if you just entered when I said entered, and if you just take profit right now, you walk away with $100. You walk away with your entire month's highest
Paid for
end
your whole month.
subscription paid. Yeah, and we did that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, and we'll do
One
this.
day.
And here's the amazing thing: we're literally going to do this multiple times, uh, multiple times a week, 8 times a month, and we'll have much bigger trades and bigger plays.
Plus, you're doing this for cafe, Josh.
I'm in a cafe in Hungary, right? So,
All right, man.
all right, let's see here. You can see we're
I
slowly
would
creeping
love
up
to
to
break.
that. Go ahead.
I would
Up at
love to
100.
break 583.20 for
Yeah, that would be.
more, but I
Yeah,
think
I think
I
I'm going
think
to
we're
take
going to
it
get.
right around 582.80 is what I'm going to take it. I'd like to get $200 on this, what I call this bad
Yeah,
trade.
yeah. I think we're going to. I think we're about to run into some trouble here.
Okay, I took it. I left a little runner. That was, I think, just to be honest with you, can't see at the moment. It was right around 160. Is that what it was? I
Hmm.
saw 200 for. I saw just under 200 for a brief moment. I'm out. Look at that. We're getting a red candle, but we'll see. This is not. This may not be done going up. So as far as re-entry, here's what we're looking for. We're looking for a bounce back here at the moment off of the 200 EMA. But really, the bigger
Yeah,
confirmation of the day is going to be a bounce off morning market and VWAP. That's going to be, if we get
yeah,
a nice solid bounce there, then we're going to go back into calls for a push. That's where we're going to get a 40% move. That's where, I can make a couple $1,000 if I play it just right. So right now, this was just our first little scalp on the day. Let me know if you guys are able to follow me, if you made a little bit of money. So Rob got 238. Nice. Shaq says no puts until 585. I think Shaq could be right. We'll see. I'm gonna just slowly let the candles speak to me. We are still green here, guys. I mean, this candle can go green. Um, we don't. It doesn't have to give us nothing. We don't have to get any back tests. Personally, I'd like to see it slow down and back test these two structures I'm pointing to you. At bare minimum, I'd like to see it back test this first outer green line. Um, I'll tell you this, if we break over the top, if this candle closes above this previous green candle, then I might jump back in and see if we get a push higher. But I'm going to sit out with my little gain at the moment and look for a clear entry. But so far, this is wanting to go higher, so we'll take it one candle at a time. So far, I mean, look at this. I mean, I would say it. One, two, three, four, five candles. They're all green. This would be the first
yeah.
red candle. I'd love for it to back test this area and then show a nice strong wick. I'll jump back in and ride it up into this area. But at the moment, we got to, at the moment, I'm letting it cook for a second. Michael, what are your thoughts?
I wanted to back. I wanted to back test the 200 on the 5 minute or 581.80 and get a wick off of that to re-enter calls to shoot on up to 583 is what I wanted.
All right. Well, let me ask you
I
this,
took.
Michael. If this candle goes
I
green and we keep
Yeah.
climbing, what are you going to do?
I think I would wait. I would still wait for 583 to break. I would still wait for that to enter calls.
For a momentum break?
Yeah, for a momentum break. It's for a little more confirmation, but it's
American
feeling good.
Desi,
The 15
yeah.
MACD's trying to cross.
I mean, so far
We
this
got
thing isn't
we're
breaking down.
almost
And go ahead. I'm sorry.
no. The RSI's pushing up. We're 54 on the RSI on the 15, and the MACD's about to cross, or it's close. I mean, it could. There it went. There it went. 15 just crossed on the MACD. I'd still like to back test the 200.
We're getting a little
But
consolidation here. Um,
yeah,
so the closing price of this green candle here is 582.54. And so if the opening price of this candle is 582.54, so the exact one. If this candle goes green, I think I'm going to jump in. gonna keep riding it higher. At the moment, we need to get a little bit. It's slowing down, and the best entry.
Slowing
Wait,
down.
yeah, there we go. Let me see here.
Here we go. Maybe, Josh. Might keep on going. Looking good, man.
Well, I missed
Mm,
it. I hit limit order. Always a mistake. I'm
yeah,
going to just.
I went ahead and grabbed one. Let's see what it does at 583. I'm still in the top of my box. I draw like a shaded rectangle into ranges. Wish I could share my screen. I can't do it today though. And I try to draw ranges for breakovers or trading in between for scalps. Break unders or
Um,
breakovers or in betweens.
can you explain that a little bit to everybody?
So I'll take like yesterday those first few hours we ranged from 580.50 up to like 581.80. So I drew me you could draw a rectangle and create a square box in that range. You can decide it's a little riskier scalping in between that range, but once that range starts to break over or break under, that's your breakout moments. And
So it's
it's
basically a structure based
generally
on previous trading
a
range.
structure. Yep, break of structure. I love break of structure because it's confirming. That's what, like right now, the same two ranges have played yesterday and today, and been winners for me like 7 times now. So if I was just trading my box, I would have bought a put off of 582.90, and I would be up about a third of a point right now. Or if it breaks above, I would go into calls.
Yeah. The what I'm seeing is that so we're getting a little bit of weakness, but at the end of the day, if this candle closes above this previous candle, then it's still
Yeah,
trending up. If it breaks beneath it, then we're going to be looking for entry into calls off of the bounce off the 200. But there's no indication at the moment that this is coming down because we've only had one red candle. And the truth is, this can slowly melt up with a series of green candles for the next couple, and for the next hour. It's great when the market gives little whipsaws and bounces, but it's that it might be just it might melt all the way back up to this range right here, which is my pre-market test. That's where the big test is going to ultimately come, in my opinion. So inverse head and shoulders, Chaz. I tried to look at that. I don't know over what time frame. I mean, we got a little bit maybe, but we've got this. I don't know that that counts so much for an inverse head and shoulders to me. A little bit more of a triangle, if you ask me. If you're referring to this pattern here, we might be in a little bit of a triangle. Yeah, see, we're still going up.
still going up. And now
I think
the 9 has crossed the 200.
I'm thinking of adding to my position. Give me a minute here. Now we're getting another red candle.
I
So
think we're going to get a little bit of rejection here. Yeah,
it would make sense to.
I think we're going to get a little rejection. Yeah, it makes perfect sense too. It was the range that the back half of yesterday traded in all the way from after hours and most of pre-market has been 581.80 up to 583. So perfect spot for it to reject.
Doesn't
I was
look like it
hoping it would
wants
break
to.
over, but no. If I was just straight scalping, I probably would have grabbed a put there just for quick, just something quick.
So far, guys, just to recap, every morning, every day is a little different.
582.
Um, Let me get rid of some of the
Yep.
unnecessary drawing here. Give me a minute. All right. So every morning is a little different.
So we wicked
Um,
off 582.50 a little.
yeah. In my mind, this candle, the way it's acting doesn't. It looks like it could even turn green. It seems like this. We had one red candle, and
Yep.
this is not a capitulation candle. So I picked up a little bit, but I'm going to tell you, it's higher risk. So I'm going to tell you, follow this one at your own risk. I'm accepting a loss. I've actually made a fair amount of money, and if I lose a little bit now, I can make it back. Um, we've gotten one red candle. We've yet to get two red candles in a row. This one could be capitulating. We'll see.
Yep.
There we go. It's finally coming back a little bit. Well, my buy didn't go through. I'm not sure if I'm happy or sad about it. It still looks like it's showing some strength. I'm going to try it again.
Yeah,
I'm,
I like the 15 pretty good.
Let me go to the 15.
We're not over the zero line on the MACD. RSI's flat right now, but we did
Oh,
get that cross up on the MACD,
15
so it's
minute
not
candle looking kind of ugly, to be
it's
honest.
not over the zero. Yeah, it is. It is. The candle is for sure.
But let's go back to the
And
5 minute for a
we're
minute.
under the zero line.
All right. So I haven't hit buy on those. If it turns green, I'll buy for this additional push. Um, I'm watching it very closely. Kind of like it. I hit buy on it.
Yeah, the one
Okay.
hour. I like the 1 hour too.
All right. So now I've got 20 contracts. Average price is $1.13. I'm $80 under on that. It's slightly precarious, but it could turn on me. It could turn on me.
I like the setup, but I don't like the 15-minute candle.
No,
Mm.
15 minute candle's not good. All right, we did
No.
get that. Yeah, so that did turn away from me. I'm gonna trim my
Yeah.
position back a little bit. I'm gonna hold some, but I'm gonna trim it back a little bit. Yeah, so we finally have a little bit of a rollover. This is a little bit of a rollover. So now I'm looking for that back test. That's what we were looking for at the beginning, but it looked there for a brief moment that we might push all the way up without getting that back test. But now I would say that I'm going to wait for a little bit of a back test. We don't have yet two red candles in a row. We're still dealing, but I would say this one looks like it's going to be the one that goes red on us, and that would give us the trend coming back for the back test. We want to see it
Yeah.
bounce off 200. It could even come as low
Hmm.
as the VWAP, and that's the best. The best ideal entry would be a nice wick candle off of this VWAP. Are you going to take any puts yet, Michael, or what are you thinking?
I don't think so. I would rather I'd rather play a back test because we've traded this range. We've come up against this a few times. I feel like if we keep coming up against it, we're going to bust it. I would almost rather play a bounce off the 580, 180 area.
So yeah, I'm going today's
Perfect.
expiration. Right now. I've been in calls, Ashley. Um, Ian, at the moment, my play is the 583 call expiring today. My average cost is $1.13.
Just looking at the 1 hour chart, I, I kind of like RSI pointing up. MACD looks like it's trying to come back up.
Let's real quick. I wanted to show you guys the Tesla chart. It's interesting. I mean, for whatever it's worth, that thing is that's a 1 month candle. That's a pretty nice candle at the moment. However,
Wow.
258. You got to look at one time before back here. We got that same candle, that hammer candle at resistance. We've got that same hammer candle at the moment at resistance, and so we've got to watch this 258. If we can close the month above 258, we're fine. This is actually in a bullish trend. Um, if we don't, then it's going to do the same thing it did last time, and we could have a nice big pullback. So
There
this is where
we
you
go,
really got to,
Josh.
yeah, yeah. So I felt the need to hold these. We haven't collapsed yet.
Uh-uh.
Remember, I wanted to revisit this with you guys so you understand um, what we're doing here. We're looking for a better entry. So we have three structures. I'm just going to revisit it, guys. Give me 1 second. Move my screen around a little bit. There's really always more than one structure, but I'm wanting to just kind of build a concept for people that they would at least go by these three structures. If you go by these three structures every day, you'll do fine. The problem is with people and trading is they get a little bit, they don't know what to look at. So they'll do the 5, the 9 crossing the 13. They'll do, you got the 200. If you just build these three structures every day and you trade them, you'll be consistent in your trades. So right now, um, I'm at break even. If this candle closes green, we still will not have had a trend reversal yet. Um,
I'll be right back, Josh. I got somebody
no
coming in.
problem. No problem. If this candle closes red, I'm still going to hold these for a little while. I will buy more of them if we get a bounce. The only trouble I could get in is if we end up not bouncing off VWAP. If we end up opening and closing a candle here, then I'd probably have to cut those loose. I'd probably lose $1,000, but I'm not terribly worried and taking it one candle at a time. More or less, it's showing strength. And here's the structure we're trading. So we've got this candle here, right here. It confirmed VWAP and it confirmed morning structure. This was our reason to enter. So this is our reason to enter, right? We pushed through the 200. We had two red candles here giving us a little grief. Um, I would love bounces off of these structures. Sure, I would love those as better entries. But the market at the moment wasn't coming down, so I took a little risk and got in. I would say that all these candles we're losing our trend a little bit because we're not getting green, green, green. We're getting green, red, green, red, green, red. Obviously, there's quite a big fight going on right here. But I also would say that this is sort of setting up kind of like a giant flag at the moment. We could get a huge continuation higher. We shall see. The test I'm looking for at the moment, or my target, would be the outer band of the VWAP, which would coincide with pre-market, and I would have my finger on the sell signal for that scalp. I mean, this is a pretty strong move, getting us above morning market, above VWAP, above the 200 EMA. We've got a fair amount of strength shown here. No back test at the moment. I want to look away and go look at the Tesla chart, but I have a feeling this is going to move on me real soon. Let's look at a higher time frame. Let's see what the 10-minute candle looks like. So the 10-minute candle, again, it looks like a flag to me. As long as we don't break the low of this candle, um, we have a series of higher lows. Each candle's making a series of higher lows, even the red candle. So as long as we can get, if this candle goes green, this 10-minute candle, then the trend is going to be clearly upwards. Even though the best entry would always be on a back test of structure. Let me see here. Give me a minute. I'm going to make these a bit thicker for us. This does look like it can go either way. We can get a little rollover. If you're not in this, I would wait for those back tests. We're looking for a back test here, or a back test here, or a back test on VWAP. That's going to be our best entry. So if you're not in it, I would wait. I'm holding a couple. If we get that back test and bounce, I will buy some more. Let's see if that 15-minute candle looks any better. Yeah, 15-minute candle does look better. So we haven't even had a single red candle yet on the 15-minute time frame. And we're building. All right. I'd like to see a nice, powerful breakout move. It would be right. We have to get right above this previous high of the previous candle to get it. And if we get it, I'll probably make a nice 10, 20% on this. But I'm looking for the move right here. Give it to me. Yeah, the 15-minute candle. The 15-minute candle is looking great. There's no breakdown here yet. We do have to get above. We do want to get above this current price of around 582.78. Check in on everybody. The back test would be on the various. Okay, so we got VWAP. VWAP is really represented by the blue line. If you're above it, you don't want to be in puts. If you're beneath it, you don't want to be in calls. And so that's the best area for the market. This morning we were beneath it, pre-market, right? We broke through it. That could have been my entry. I probably would have entered if I wasn't teaching structure this morning. We ended up getting into it late. I think right around here, made it about just about $160 here. Can't quite remember. And I re-entered around here, right? Waiting for this move up to this outer band of the VWAP. That's where I'd be looking to possibly take some profits. It also would coincide with pre-market structure, which would be another area of resistance. it had been previous resistance right here. It had failed here before. So it was a pivot point. And so that's why we'd be looking for it to be a pivot point again. Even though we're getting some sample, some little 5-minute red candles, we've yet to get a higher time frame red candle. Even though this little green candle here on the 15-minute time frame could be setting up as a doji at the moment. If it turns red and closes, well, then we're likely going to come back and get that back test that we're looking for. A bounce off of this outer VWAP line would be another potential place to enter. Our confirmation candle for entering into this play right now is this candle right back here. I'm getting close to a place where I may add to my position. Still showing relative strength at the moment. Could get a flush. Brian, we'll see in a minute. So far, it's still showing strength. All right. If this candle closes, it confirms above the previous candle highs here, which would be bullish. So we've got to see how this candle closes. So we've got a minute 47 seconds left on it. It's a slow melt up right now. This is not giving us a dynamic. Would you buy any AMD calls, short or long expire? I'm gonna see if I can finish up this trade. If we get up to here, and I take profit on this, then we'll go and do some charting. If it collapses, I will scale into my position here, hopefully if we get a bounce off the 200, looking to, again, take it back up to here and take some profit. That's kind of my game plan. Once we get through this trade, I'll do some general charting for you guys. We'll look at some other plays. Good morning, Preet. Glad to have you here. If it doesn't backtest, this is, Brian Jackson's the perfect question. It's why I chose to jump in with a little, kind of a little position, because I didn't, it really wasn't showing much weakness. It's still not showing weakness. It has to, at this point, it has to get below that price to break down. Let me get rid of some of this noise in here. Yep. And at the moment, this candle opened above this. Let me move this around, guys. 1 second. So this candle opened above. Okay, so we got to close on it. This candle opened above the high or close of this candle. We're still consolidating. I tried to scale my position a little bit, didn't get to, but it looks like I'm going to get a profit here. Really want to break away. Didn't get. I really should have bought in a bit higher there. Okay, now we got to open and close beneath that candle. So we might get our flush here. So just hold on, guys. It's really given us this is kind of a triangle. Each trading session's different. We really haven't had this particular, there we go. There's our first, I would say that we're likely going to get our back test here. And this is where I'm going to add to my position, guys. So it's dragging out. We might have our first second red candle in a row, which would give us the indication that we could roll over a little bit and back test at least the outer line of VWAP. And so you guys who have not gotten in, I'll let you know when I add to my position. Hi, Kashi. We've been looking at calls. I've been in some calls on a second trade that we did. It's kind of slow going. We've been moving sideways here for, I guess you could say, the last 25, 30 minutes. Matter of fact, I would even say that if we drew structure, it'd be worth drawing structure because of how long of a consolidation period that we've had. Let's do that. All right, so this is the structure we've been in. And so this is, I guess you could say, we've consolidated here long enough that this has become a defined structure, which means that if we break above it and we open and close a candle above it, it's going to become a new buy signal. If we break beneath it or we open and close a candle beneath it, it then becomes a potential new put signal. But this is the range that we're in until it breaks one way or the other. We're just moving sideways. This last candle has tested. It's in the middle of it, but it tested the low. It bounced, moved. We kind of moved to the top, tested the low, came back up closer to the top. Top half of the structure, top half of any structure that you're ever looking at is being controlled by the bulls. When it's in the bottom half of the structure, it's being controlled by the bears, and so it's leaning bearish. Right, the moment we have to say that this is still leaning bullish until we get into the bottom half or until we get a flush down. Overall, this is still leaning bullish. Let's go to a higher time frame candle. We kind of see the same thing playing out. This is just a sideways consolidation. I could see us, at least trying to hit this outer band before going higher. We don't have to. If I were trading this again, we had our confirmation back here above morning market, not on the 10-minute candle, but on the 5-minute candle, we had our confirmation here. The confirmation on the 10-minute candle would have been this candle right here, which still would have pointed us to the upside if we had caught it early enough. take a check of the 1 hour still. I hate to move away from this chart for a minute, but yeah, we've got a potential turn up. That's, earlier this morning we were looking at puts. It was pointing down, but of course we've turned up. If this were to cross over, that would be nice and bullish for the day. That's a really crazy wick this candle got this morning. Massive wick on that green candle, pushing us all the way up. I could easily see a continuation here all the way back to the high of pre-market before going lower. Yes, I do use the Haki Ashi candles on Ashki candles. I'm not pronouncing that correctly. I love them. They're very good. It's an entirely other teaching method, and we could say we're going to have an HA day and do it all with those candles. See if people wanted to do that, learn that method. All right, so now we're in the bear half of our little consolidation pattern. And even if we wick beneath it, it only matters if we open and close a candle beneath it. So I would be worried about my calls. If we open and close a candle here, it means we have to go lower. We have to go back to the 200. All right, so this candle is going to tell us a lot because you always have your candle, which is a break of structure. That's the one that crosses your trend line. And then you have a candle that opens and closes beneath your trend line. If this candle does not uh, close beneath the structure, then the pattern that we're trading, the structure is still intact. It only breaks if it closes on top of this previous line of support. We have officially back tested the outer band of the 200, no, the outer band of the VWAP, which is a minimum test for this going higher. So if this is going to continue higher, we really should see the spring off of this candle right here. And this would be our first place to consider entry, but it would depend on whether or not this candle bounces or whether this candle breaks. You can see on the 5-minute MACD, we are getting a little bit of a curl down. We're slowly and continuing losing some momentum. So far, the candle is closing still within structure. So we have, we'll see how it closes. It's got a minute left. And we've back tested the outer band of the VWAP, which if this trend is going to continue, that would be enough of a test for it to continue to climb and build higher from here. So we want to see how this candle closes up. First on the 5-minute, but I'll keep an eye on the 10-minute as well. Main thing I'm looking for is whether or not this candle closes within structure. Yes, Garvin is saying that the current candle is breaking the 9 EMA. I think we're testing the 9 EMA. We can put it on real quick. I'll do that just for visual. We'll use this one. Okay, that is the 9 EMA. Let me do this. Yeah, so I mentioned that the 9 EMA would be very close to the outer band of the VWAP, and you can see that they're somewhat overlapped. We're testing the 9 right now, and if this bounces off the 9, well, then this is the time to buy and continue to go long. If we break through it, then we are losing and getting a reversal. I would say that's a break of our structure, and we're not going to get a bounce off that. So I'm going to hold off on adding to this position. At this point, I'm going to be looking for a bounce off of the 200 EMA. We won't buy until we get a bounce. We want a candle, we want to see a wick. Michael said he had to go. Work's gotten too busy for him. Sorry, guys, just give me a second. I'm just processing something. Okay. I would say this is a little bit of a boring trade at the moment. So the main thing, we have the possibility, we talked about it right when we were over here. We had the possibility of wanting to wait for a bounce off of either the 200 or the best case scenario, which would be right here, morning structure and VWAP. So we're going to see how this candle performs. If we break through, if we close a candle on top of the 200, then we will wait for the morning market in VWAP. If this candle goes back into this channel, then we're going to be adding to our calls. Right now, we're getting some decent life off of that. We really want to see it get back above the 9 EMA to get bullish again. Otherwise, we are still trending down, and we want to look for entry here off of morning market in VWAP. Let's go check out the one. Yeah, we've got to. Let's see here. Let's clean this up a bit. Yeah, it's a pretty ugly 1 hour candle at this point. Doesn't mean that we won't continue to trend higher, but this is not a good looking 1 hour candle. We haven't really made much ground in the last hour. So this candle here, this 5 minute candle, we're going to let it close. If it closes on top of the 200, the way that it is, then we're not touching it. We're going to wait for a bounce. We're going to be looking for some sort of action here. So we've opened beneath the 200, which is somewhat bearish. We didn't bounce off the 200, which means we've got more room down to test these other levels. In fact, I'm going to possibly look at taking a small put play if we do reject here. Just looking at it right now, not in anything. We want to watch. I trimmed my calls. I'm still holding some calls. Calls in my mind at this moment are still confirmed. We're just simply back testing some structure. Kind of what we talked about, guys. I know I wouldn't say this has been a terribly clear morning. I always like, it's been moving slow. I like to get the bounce off of VWAP. This, we obviously might have a bounce here off of the 200. I mentioned that these were the two areas where we could bounce. This next candle here, we got a nice strong green candle push back up. We need to get back into this structure to be bullish. If we can open and close the candle back in the structure, that would be really nice. We are back above the 9 EMA. We need to close above the 9 EMA. There's 2 minutes left on that candle. This could be another rejection wick. We have to close above it. It's leaving us in limbo at the moment. Let's look at Tesla for just a second. Really? All right. Give me a minute. Yeah, so Tesla, guys, it's above 258. We have a double bottom. We have a higher low. Um, I'm going to say kind of what I said the last time I talked about Tesla. I said that when we were back up here, I said it's very likely we're going to go back and test this 258. If we get a bounce off 258, we have a double bottom. Then we this is still in bull territory. It's not until we actually lose 258 that this trend has reversed back to the downside. You could take this trade potentially back to 272. It could be range bound. Um, this is an area where it may be considered worth taking risk. We don't have the potential of a move back to 300 until we get above 272. The SPY's been boring this morning. Seems like we got a nice little bounce off the 200. Yet to get back above the 9 EMA. We're doing it somewhat now. 200 was the ideal area for entry. I was already in some. Um, I picked up a couple small ones here. I just picked up three more, not a very large position. I'm down on this position, but the next couple candles are gonna tell us we need to get back above. The overall trend is still up. If we trade by my rule of trading these three market structures, We are currently above two of them. Um, Bigger move up would not be confirmed until we're above all three, which would be above pre-market as well. At the moment, since we're above VWAP and we're above morning market, I'm still imagining that we will at least back test pre-market before going anywhere. Um, there's no guarantee to that. That's why I entered into some calls, was the belief that we were still going to test this area. If we do, I'll cash out a profit on these. If we don't, then I would take a little loss on this one. I can't say that I know which direction this is going to go yet. I was informed just a moment ago that the location that I'm in has an event here, and they're going to want me to leave in 3 minutes. I'm not sure. This has not been we on our first trade. Fair amount of you made around 250, $300. I made some good money myself, just a little bit. This particular trade setup has been very slow. I'm going to probably go offline here. If we get back up here, we will have, they would have been confirmed on this candle. And this would have been, we talked about these two entries being the best entry. It's not clear the path just yet. If we end up losing this, I would have to cut it because I'd be past the threshold of money that I'd be willing to lose on a single trade. That's the thought on that. It's not a great clear trading day. No awesome breakaway, clear defined wind on today. Not every day is going to be a great trading day. I think we made a little money in the morning. The first trade might have given a little bit back right now. That's yet to be determined. This is going to be candle by candle here shortly. We're still trending up. We need to get above this 9 EMA. Very likely can. I will Google. 180 is a very strong resistance for Google. Extremely strong resistance for Google. Um, I would say Google's doing great. It's not broken down. We had a massive move. You know, Order blocks show that we could backtest this 176 area. Right now, it's made, we've got a series of higher lows. If we were to get below 177, I would assume we would backtest 175. I think Google's had a good moment, and I don't see why it has to stop just yet. The market's just consolidating this huge move. I would like to see, I think we can still push higher on Google, and I would not at all be surprised if we did. Worst case scenario, we backtest 175.70 and we bounce from there. I don't see why at all Google's going to break down right now. We'll look at Amazon real quick. I do like TSM right now. I wanted to get into some. So my original game plan. Let's get TSM up. My original game plan, communicated in a video a while back, after we had that massive power move up, I advised everybody that we would likely come back and backtest this 192.50. We hit like 190. We hit right here pretty low, right around 192.67. We hit exactly where I said we would hit. This is the area where I wanted to take risk again. I'm gonna wait into market close today, and I'm gonna take some risk on TSM. It's simply back tested structure. If you want to be more conservative on TSM, you could looking for a bounce here. This is a historic trend line. You can see that it's worked quite a few times in the past. Um, if we were to break this historic trend line, we obviously wouldn't want to be in it. But as long as this historic trend line holds, to me, this is the perfect spot for re-entry on TSM. So I'm going to take a trade on this, probably start going into a small position with time. This isn't a scalp. It'll be a little bit of a longer call option for me. The only reason I would get out of it is if we lost this 193. SPY still not giving us a move up, but I'm still going to hold my calls. Um, the only reason why I would get out of them is if we broke this low. We're still in an uptrend. It's cooking slowly. We're going to back test some things. We probably will bounce on this 9 EMA on the 15-minute a few times. But ultimately, my target is up here unless something causes the market to break down. If you guys want to get into this trade, you could consider buying some calls in this zone if you're confident that we're going to continue higher. At the moment, the market is still showing some strength to me. And so I probably, after I get off, I probably will keep an eye on these levels and I'll be looking for some reversal to finish up this trade. I'll come back on later today and let you guys know how it turned out. 3K to 10K challenge, I'm going to do that. I'm not able to spend enough time in front of the charts right now to provide that. But I will come back to that. I promise you guys. Let's go look at NVIDIA real quick. So I tell you, this has been one of the key trend lines. This 136.90. We don't have a breakdown on NVIDIA. This used to be resistance here, support, 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 and it just hit that and acted as support again. So I think 136.90 was a reasonable area to get in for a bounce. Um, let's go to more hours. Pretty nice wick. We've got earnings here. Um, looks like November 20th. So a good couple weeks away. Um, I would say that as long as 136.90 holds, I think the trend is looking pretty good. I mean, this is really just a flag, or we've got a couple patterns here. Let me just draw them out for you real quick. So we have a bullish descending channel. This is going to only be, you want to remember that you got to be on the top half for the bulls to be in charge. We are looking good. We had a bounce off the bottom. This has been confirmed because we've gotten 2 touches on the top, 2 touches on the bottom. So if we get back above this 140, then I would say that, the bulls have taken control of it and we could easily, move to the top and make our higher high. I would just say that, you can trade this a lot of different ways. If I was going to buy some calls, I'd probably wait for it to get back above 140.30 right there. Um, if if it stayed here and we broke beneath this low right here of 139, I'd probably take puts on this. So 140 for calls. We're kind of in a tight spot right now, and you can see that we've been in that area here for a little bit. But I would say that in general, this is a bullish structure. This is not a broken chart. It had this incredible bounce off 136.90. I've had that on my chart for a long time as an important support level. And it's now created the 2 touches needed to have a bullish descending channel. So as soon as it gets back above 140.20, then it looks like the bulls will be back in charge with NVIDIA. So I would say that at the moment, I'm going to assume that this could come and backtest the VWAP. There's no guarantee. I would say for sure it would if we break this line right here. Kind of looks like we're going to. So we don't have, if I would say that I will take calls right in this zone again. if we get a bounce. I still am holding my trimmed position, so I'm down on that, and I'll be looking to kind of recover that off of a bounce off the VWAP. In general, let's see, let's look at a higher time frame. Let's look at the MACD. MACD on the 1 hour is pointing down, so it says I shouldn't be in calls. So if we continue to break down, I will continue to trim this position. And the best that I can offer you on that is that I got into it a bit late, and I should have had a higher stop loss. It had a really slow meltdown, and so if it continues to break down, I will continue to trim my position. If we rebuild and bounce off VWAP, I'll rescale my position. That's the only way that I'm going to turn this particular trade around. That's the game plan on that. No breakaway winner, unfortunately, on today's live trade. We'll do it again Friday, and maybe I'll open it up to everybody again so we can see how that event goes. AMD. All right, let's take a quick peek at AMD. AMD got crushed. Man, my chart's so messy. Yeah, so here's my concern on AMD. I pointed it out last time. So we talked about if we got above 169, that would be bullish. Obviously, beneath 151 is bearish. What I see here that concerns me a great deal, and I saw this on Snow a while ago, and I pointed it out to everybody then. And people were more bullish on Snow, but it proved to be right. It's got these very, you know, it's got this. These are very clearly bearish ascending channels. And heaven forbid we get back down to this spot of 144 and break, because that would really signal that we would continue all the way down, probably. Let me see, pull this up. Yeah, I got to tighten up my channels, but the guess is that we would come back here to at least 115. I do not like, I've seen this before, and I know this chart's really messy, guys. Hard for you guys to see it. I got too much on it right now. Let me get rid of a few things. Okay. But like I said, I saw this last time with Snow, and it didn't play out well. This is a clear trend. I would expect, if you want to consider going long, I wouldn't touch it until 144. So that's my thought on it at the moment. AMD, not a great trend line here for a long time. This is not trending up. So I mean, we could see it come back, but this didn't go well. Earnings wasn't good. The market's punishing it. The market's been punishing it. I mean, this thing really peaked back here in March of this year. It's been trending down. We had a solid, consistent sell-off, and these patterns are clearly pointing down. It wouldn't shock me if we end up, here somewhere in this region by the end of the year, and even the first couple months of next year. So I'm not bullish right now on what I'm seeing. I need to see something way better on AMD, a really big change. Technically, we'd have to break above 180 for this downtrend to be reversed, right? And some would say, well, I'd be happy if we got back to 180. Sure, so would I. We could technically, you could go up to 180. We'd be touching the top of this larger descending channel. But right now, AMD looks bearish to me. All right, let's quickly zoom in real quick on the. Yeah, we're definitely going to test the VWAP, and we're definitely going to test morning market structure, and this will determine. I will rescale up my position because I have to, as long as we get a bounce. So I'll wait and see if we get some sort of a bounce off of the 200. This is the 15-minute and VWAP. Oh, we crossed VWAP. No, let me get rid of this 9 EMA. It's confusing me. Yeah, yeah. So we're getting ready to test. We're getting ready to test the VWAP here. And if it holds and we get some green candles, I will add to my position. If it gets lost and we get back into morning market, I will have to get out of my position. I'll have to take a loss on that because we'll easily come back down to 579. So that's what's going on with that. Let me bring you guys back on for a brief moment. This was not a terribly fun live trade session. Um, we'll pick it up again Friday, guys. Hopefully there was some learning in here of the setup. If this has been my experience, if you go and trade the setup that I've given you guys today, every single day, you might have one day in there, 2 days that you will lose. You will have more days that you win. I trade this setup every day. I was walking around, a site with the family here the other day, church, and I went up a stairwell, entered a trade based on this structure. By the time I came down, I'd made $1,500. The structures work very well if you consistently trade them. Today, we had the confirmation above structure, took a trade, decided to risk the trade continuing higher sooner. Probably should have just stayed out of it. I mentioned that we wanted the bounce off VWAP. That's when I should have considered re-entry. So every day there's a learning opportunity. I think the trade structures worked, but every day you get a new chance and to do it well, or even better than you did it the day before. This coming Friday, we'll do it again. We'll trade the same setup. I'll teach the same setup, and we'll see if we can make some money. Appreciate you guys. We did a couple charting here today. I will see you a little bit later. Peace and blessings. Take care. My bad eye.